Hey everyone, it's Colin here today with CV Racing. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be focusing on a comparison video between the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro and the GoPro Hero 13. Quick disclaimer, both cameras are running the media mod. I am going to attach a screenshot of a friend's page as well. Matt with Man Cave Sim Racer. He has put out a fantastic breakdown video that shows you how to pull the in-game audio into your cameras so that if you are doing any sort of recording, you can get a very clean and crisp audio with that. I do also want to quickly say that I have already shot this entire video a little over a week ago. So today is January 31st. I shot a little over a week ago, and unfortunately with the DSLR that we shot with for the main view, a lot of the different imaging and stuff like that, it ended up losing focus. We had it on manual mode, we had areas selected, but for some reason the camera just lost some focus. And then also I ended up having a few issues with the in-game capture of the audio where a couple settings just weren't correct, and it was just overly distorted. So I decided to order the GoPro media mod, and I got a different light, and I ended up ordering another mic, and I did a various bunch of things to make this happen so that I could try to make the video quality as good as possible. So with that being said, I am going to have the unboxing portion that I've already shot kind of showing here in the corner, and that's just going to basically just show the unboxing in a sped up view. And then I will also show the camera settings individually being set up so that you can see and go through the camera and make sure that you set it up correctly. I do 100% recommend that you go into Pro settings and then you set up the camera. So with that being said though, I am also going to be shooting the content with both cameras with a dual camera mount. So basically this is going to allow me to run both cameras simultaneously on my head in an POV style video. The POV will be slightly off, but that's all right. So anyway, the DJI Osmo Action 5, as you guys know, well, one of my good friends, Daniel Killian of Astrologicals Racing, he puts out some fantastic POV content. If you haven't seen his videos by chance, you should probably go watch them. They're very, very good. I'm going to leave a link to his page as well. So he highly recommends both the DJI. And with that being said, when I was running my GoPro 11, I was constantly running into issues in the low light, and it was overheating all the time. In the testing that I've already done, both cameras actually are fantastic. They both give a very good picture in low light. The DJI does take the reins a little bit over the 13, but if you're a GoPro fan and you want to stick with GoPro and you're on an 11, or less, I would really recommend you to upgrade to go to the 13. You're going to get a much better product and a better experience overall. I will be shooting both cameras in Automobilista 2. If you haven't played Automobilista 2, or you have, but it was prior to the 1.6 update, I would highly recommend you to load that back up or buy it and give it a shot. They've changed the physics. The graphics are incredible. The fidelity into the wheel is amazing. It's extremely fun to drive in, just being honest. But yeah, so basically for the comparison, we're gonna run the early morning, daytime, nighttime, and then I'm gonna do another run at nighttime. You can't see it here. I do have 3 Philips Hue lighting, and then I do have a couple of RGB lights as well. So for that second night run, I'm gonna shut off my ambient lighting. I'll probably leave on the RGB lights as they're honestly not super bright. They won't really impact the ambient lighting. But I will shut off the Philips Hue light so that we can try to get as close and as best of a low light capture as possible. And yeah, so right away here, I'm gonna fire up the PC and we're gonna get right into this and start shooting some content here with both cameras. I am also gonna shoot some content individually with both cameras, and that'll also be in this video. So I will also try to include chapters along the way, so that if you just want to skip and go to certain parts, obviously you are free to do so. If there is anything I have missed in the video, or something you don't agree with, or that you think was done really well, or whatever, in that case, please let me know. I am not a professional videographer, not by any means. I'm doing this because I love it, and I have a great passion for sim racing and making content. I just want to I want to make some cool content and do some racing and capture it, and hopefully one of these days get my kids into it as well. So but yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna get the PC on and we're gonna jump into this. Okay, so right now we're just gonna very quickly go over the settings for the GoPro Hero 13, and then also the DJI Osmo Action 5. So I do already have it set in Pro mode. I do want to just say real quick, everything's a little bit darker in this shot, just to make sure that we can actually see the words on the screen for the capture here. So anyway, so it's already on Pro mode, but basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, this is the screen that it'll turn on to. You'll scroll down, you'll scroll over to the right, you'll go to your Pro selection. So usually what it does is it starts on easy controls. You don't want easy controls, you want to switch up to Pro. And then you're going to want to go to preferences. And okay, that might just be for the DJI. Okay. So then we'll go out of here, scrolling up, and we'll go. So you can do, it's hard to see even with this. So it's in 16:9 at 4K. The frame rate is currently at 30. It's in wide lens. Hyper smooth is off. And I've set the duration for shooting to 1 hour in hopes that GoPro will stop completely breaking up all my videos. It just makes it a lot easier when they stay together, but it's obviously for errors and stuff like that, but that way you don't lose all your footage. So HLG HDR is on. I find HLG to be the best for giving you a good color spacing, and it just looks really nice with HDR. You do want 10 bit on for your bit depth and your bit rate at high. For some reason, when you're in HDR, it does not let you play with the shutter, the composure, ISO min and max settings. It does let you play with the white balance. So I usually try to keep it around 5K. I do have the denoise on high and the color at natural. And then obviously, depending if you're using a mic and stuff like that, you can set up your different audio selections and the media mod and wind reduction if you're outside, if it's really windy. Sharpness I do leave to low. I do like to play with stuff like that when I'm in my editing. So yeah, that's basically the GoPro. Usually when I shoot my racing content, it's always at 60. And sometimes I'm in linear or wide. It really just kind of depends on what I'm wanting to shoot. Log, I find the color system to be very flat. You definitely need to go in after and edit, post-process your editing. So the camera in standard will do 4K 60, 4K, 24, 30, 60, 120. Past 60, well, even 60 and up, that's kind of for slow motion with GoPro. And then as you can see here, though, I now have access to the min-max, ISO, the composure, and the shutter speed, all being in standard. So you could just shoot in standard if you want. I do like HLG. And this just says HDR enhances the video with a broader dynamic range and balanced exposure. Works best in bright conditions. Okay, So yeah, that's basically the GoPro, and then as you can see, this is your screen, what you're shooting. It tells you you're in HLG 16:9, 4K 60 wide. It also shows you there that it's in wide, and the GoPro Media Mod is listening to my voice right now, even though it's not recording. But yeah, so that's the GoPro settings. And then we'll quickly turn on the DJI. So yeah, as you can see, it's in 4K 60 right now. And let's see if I can quickly remember how to get to the Pro mode. Okay, this is one of the settings that you have to go through in settings. So I set the bitrate to high, and then it'll take a second here. I'll find it right away. But through here is there's actually a couple interesting things. So you can set your auto power off, your Bluetooth remote control, go through the storage. It has internal storage on the DJI, and then you can set it from internal to your SD card. You can rename the unit itself. I have my sound set to low. USB mode, so when you plug it into the PC to pull off your content, basically you want to go to USB mode once it's plugged in and allow it to actually send the files over. So it's just basically just going through. So you just click USB, and as it's plugged in, this will just auto connect to your PC. And then you can set up your wireless mic from here. So basically, like with the DJI Mic 2, I could click that wireless mic and then actually set up the mic, put it into Bluetooth mode, and it will pick right up onto the GoPro so that you don't have to pick up the files externally and pull them into the video. So right here. So you can't really see it, but inside that yellow box right there, it says Pro. So there we go. So basically you want to go in here and you want to turn that on so it says Pro mode. Then you have your exposure settings. I do have exposure at 3200 right now, at 120, and it's in manual mode. And then the white balance again, 5K. I have an HLG. The tone is neutral again. Stabilization should be off. Interesting. Okay, so, and then where's that other setting? Oh, that's part of the unboxing video. And then you have super night mode. I'll go here. So yeah, again, it's in, I have their rock steady is off, which is their stabilization, and then I have it in wide. Sometimes I shoot in standard. It's at 60 FPS. You could go right up to 120 if you really want to. And then we have it in video mode. Let's just. Okay, so I pulled up the app for DJI Mimo. I believe it's called Mimo. Let's double check that. Yeah, DJI Mimo. Okay, so yeah, so I pulled up the app for DJI Mimo, which is their app that you can download for your phone to be able to control the camera. Sorry about the angle being off, and again, it's all dark because I'm trying to capture the actual lettering on here so you can actually see it through the other phone. So one thing I was trying to show you a minute ago is if you click this little button, oh my God, one more time, eh? Right up here, there we go. Holy cow, that took a minute. Okay, so like I was saying before, you definitely, for the DJI, you definitely want to have Pro mode on. And then from here, you can change your FOV. I have it at wide, and your color for your HLG. So I have the HLG selected, and you have the settings there, Wi-Fi, your storage management, your voice control, device management. And then where is the, let's see if we go standard. No, HLG, custom light balance. I swear to God, man, there is a setting here. Ah, it's so weird how it hides some of the settings. Okay, so you want to turn your phone sideways. And if you can't, you can kind of not really see, but I'm just going to hit this color recovery. So it looks slightly better right now with the capture, but I can assure you the colors are super flat right now. So as soon as you turn on HLG, you're probably going to want to go to color recovery. This will save you from having to spend as much time in your post-processing and doing the editing for the color grading. But yeah, so like the DJI, it's honestly super nice and easy to set up. Once you kind of like learn the ins and outs, which is super fast, like it doesn't take long in all honesty. So again, you just go into the Mimo app. You'll be at the top. You hit the 3 dots at the bottom when you're sideways so that the phone can actually see the picture. You'll want to turn on the Pro mode because again, if you don't have it on Pro mode, you lose access to like, well, there you go. Half the features, screen quality changes, everything kind of changes. It's less dialed in. It's a lot more automatic. So, but yeah, so basically turn on your Pro mode, set your FOV. Again, I usually do standard or wide. I don't really shoot in ultra wide. I've got my grid off. White balance, again, it should be set to 5K. It is set to 5K. And then I do have it in HLG 4K 60. And the color recovery is on. One more time, I'll just show that. So basically just the color spacing goes flat. Very neutral. But yeah, it's super easy, honestly, and it's great. The DJI really does function extremely well. I'm also recording right now one more time with the DJI Mic 2 for vocals. So anyway, let's get on with the rest of the video. Okay. Okay, so we're in Automobilista 2 and we're at Spa. This is the GoPro Hero 13. This is the DJI Osmo Action 5. We're running at 5 AM. I do have it on a times 10 time progression. Just at sun. This is just going to be the baseline of what I'm going to run the comparison for so that we can watch and see how these cameras react. They're both at 4K 60. They're both set to ISO. I think the DJI is ISO 3200 and I think the GoPro is set to ISO 1600, I believe. And then both white balances are at 5K and the what do you call it there? They're both on HLG HDR. So let's see what we can do here. We're just going to run one lap at this time progression, and then I'm going to change it to probably 1 o'clock, and then I'll change it to 1 AM. And then after we run that 1 AM session, I'll kill the Philips Hue lighting, and then we will switch it to we'll turn off the Philips Hue lighting, and then it'll just be what the cameras pick up from the lighting on screen. do want to say quickly, I had one of my friends, Michael Ward, I want to give him a bit of a shout out here. He helped me dial in my wheelbase and get it set up a little bit better, so you will notice it's a lot more reactive. Anyway, let's get on with the lap here. Okay, so that was at 5 a.m. Let's see what it looks like during the day. .218, 215 is the world record. This is the Gen 1 McLaren GT3. So I'm only 2.8 seconds off the fast guys when I'm actually focused, dialed in. Here we go. Now we'll change it to 1 a.m. So as I was saying too earlier in the video, if you haven't jumped on AMS2 or you have a long time ago, I really strongly suggest you give this this game another chance. It's incredible, honestly. They've really made a lot of improvements. Just right now, as I turned the PC on and went to load up the game right before I started recording, they had a 26 gig update or something, a patch over. They're constantly working on this right now. So yeah, here we go. No more Philips Hue ambient lighting. 1 a.m. GoPro Hero 13. DJI Osmo Action 5. All that there is for light is a tiny bit of blue light above me. So yeah, that gave a pretty good idea, I think, on how the cameras can perform in a side-by-side comparison. I'm gonna turn on my ambient light here one more time. Okay, so we're back in AMS2. Both cameras are running. This is the GoPro Hero 13, the DJI, and we're at Spa. I'm right in the middle of just passing over the finish line right now. We're gonna run one more quick lap on a valid, a full complete lap here. Let's see. Oh yeah, so that was starting at 1 AM on a 60X. I had ran one lap before that. Unfortunately, the GoPro 13 had died about halfway through the lap, so we turned it back on. Okay, so now I've just got the DJI Osmo Action 5 on, and I have it in super night mode. So what this mode is for, from my understanding, is if you're in a really dark atmosphere, this light will pretty much give you an incredible image. Let's pull this back up. We'll shut the ambient lights off. I do have one on right now, but let's just check this out for a quick minute here. So we're back at Spa, AMS2, DJI Osmo Action 5 in super night mode. So yeah, that gives you a pretty good idea on what the DJI is capable of. Like I said, I did have it set at in the super night mode. All the previous recordings were in 4K 60, HLG, HDR, and yeah, I think this camera, honestly, it's fantastic. It does a great job at capturing all the little details, the light changes, the color grading on it is fantastic. So the mode that it has is color recovery. So if we turn color recovery off, this is an HLG. So as you can see, even in an HLG with color recovery off, you get a pretty flat looking color that you would end up having to color grade. But this is a feature that DJI comes with. So for those who don't want to do color grading, I mean, although I've done it a lot now and I'm getting pretty good at it. That is super handy feature to have right there. Not a whole lot of loss of detail. Just get your color back. Everything looks great. It's super nice, actually. So again, I don't have my Philips Hue on right now. We just shot the clip in the super night mode, but oh, there we go. Now it's picking up and bringing in some low light. So this to me is fantastic. Unfortunately, a couple minutes ago, the GoPro Hero 13 did shut off from overheating. It was running for about 15 minutes, I think, maybe 20 minutes, and it shut off on me. It was in 4K 60. ISO was either at 32 or 1600. I can't remember exactly for sure. At the max, and it was in HLG HDR. So this is the first time I had it shut off. The camera was noticeably warm when I touched it, whereas the DJI, I mean, it's a little bit warm, but it's not like, I can't even feel it on my head right now, and it's been on for about 30 minutes straight pretty much now. So but yeah, I'm going to pop the DJI off. I'm going to put the GoPro back on. I'm going to run one more lap with the GoPro, but I'm going to set it to its best settings that you can do for shooting in low light, similarly to putting on, say, super night mode with the DJI, or just having it set up in a very specific way to get the best low light possible. So we'll be right back. So right now I just have the DJI. We are at Spa. We're gonna run a quick 3 laps with the DJI and just see what it can do. It's at 4K 120 right now. And let's see how this goes. GoPro Hero 13. We are gonna do a quick 3 laps at Spa. I don't know if you can see, the skill is set to 110 there. And 6 a.m. start time. There's 24 opponents on track. I do have the aggression set to max and the mistakes set to standard currently. Also, the GoPro right now is set to 4K 60. And we're just gonna see how this turns out real quick. I'm gonna actually just quickly turn on the Philips Hue lighting. There we go. I do still have to set up the monitors correctly for the bezel kit. That will be happening fairly soon. I was, if you're paying attention to the posts here on YouTube, I was having an issue with the center monitor. Basically, the display port seems like it's completely dead. So right now, if you do, pardon me, notice a bit of a difference from this screen to this screen, this screen to this screen, that's because the outsides are running on DisplayPort and my main is running on HDMI for now. So I'm going to see about, I've actually already contacted the store and ordered another one in on replacement through warranty. And hopefully I can get that sorted out right away. There is some weird artifacting that's happening here. I do believe my EVGA 3080 Ti is struggling, and I think it's gonna die soon, unfortunately. Oh, way off track. Whoops. AI's getting pretty frisky right now. Guy in the Porsche here just about took everybody out 3 or so times. Okay, so now I have the GoPro Hero 13 on my head here, just the one camera, and I've turned the FPS down to 24 frames per second. From my understanding with the GoPro, it likes in low light to be at a lower frame rate. This allows more light, whatever is available, to come into the lens, capture that, and actually give you a bit of a low light imaging. They don't have any sort of super night mode and stuff like that. I did leave HLG HDR on. 4K still on. It's just at 24 FPS now. This should give a slight idea in what changes here with the lighting. So I do have my Philips Hue lights off. I do have the one RGB on, but I do have a video light on above my head, a single video light on. So let's go run one lap and go see how this turns out here. It is daytime, 12 o'clock, or 1 o'clock I should say. Okay, so we have shot all the content now, finally, today. Got it done all in one day. I did have a issue with the GoPro overheating. It was around, I want to say, 15-20 minute mark of it being on. It was in 4K 60. That is an issue that I've already had previously with the 11. I found it a little bit weird that it overheated because I ran it for, I don't know, I want to say like 4 to 6 hours when I first shot all this content a couple weeks ago. I shouldn't say first shot all this content. The first time I tried making this video and shot all the content, I ran it for probably 4 to 6 hours and it didn't overheat. So I was kind of surprised today that it did in a very short amount of time. That could right there be a determining factor whether or not you want to run this on your head. It does get pretty warm. When it overheated, I touched it. It was decently warm. It didn't have the media mod on at that point. I was running both cameras simultaneously on my head when it had died. But I did get both cameras shot in the early morning, the daytime, the nighttime, and then nighttime without any of the ambient lights except for the blue RGB lights. I did also shoot the DJI in its super night mode, which it's pretty wild, honestly, how much light that camera can create, I guess. I don't know, it's interesting. But so yeah, my kind of closing thoughts here between the two cameras is there is still some issues with the GoPro. GoPro does need to update their sensors. They do need to update the camera a little bit when it comes to the physical attributes. I don't know, like I know that they've changed the battery now from the 11s to the 13s. I'm not too sure why there's still an overheating problem, but that does need to be addressed in my opinion. Just as like a daily user, content creation, you can't be having your camera dying on you after a few minutes. I know technically these cameras are action cameras and they should only be used in shorter, burst shots or shorter clips and stuff like that, but they are pretty expensive when you factor in, $500 to $800, depending if you're just buying the basic camera or if you're actually buying like the media kit for content creation. So I didn't have any overheating problems whatsoever with the DJI. It does get a little warm, but it just stays at that same warmth. So it's not really, it doesn't really seem like a problem. I don't even really notice it when it's on my head actually, whereas the GoPro, like, you feel it on your head. So, but generally speaking, the picture quality on both, I feel, is pretty damn good. And GoPro has made some improvements, like I said earlier, from the 11 to the GoPro 13. Anyway, if you liked the video, please give it a like. If there's anything that I missed or said incorrectly, or anything that you feel like could be improved upon, definitely please let me know in the comments below. If the video is good enough for you to give it a follow and show some support, I'd really appreciate it, because I am trying to pour as much time as I possibly can into making some videos, not just POV videos, but I do have some things that are coming up shortly. I don't really want to discuss it yet until things are a little more set in stone, but one of the big things are set in stone, and it's happening, and I'm very, very excited. Things will be changing very soon, and yeah, I definitely hope to see everybody on the next one. Take care, have yourself a good weekend, and keep it rubber side down,